just going to turn the ringers off.
So just to give you, so we are going to wait just a minute. Councilor Allgood is out of town, so he's going to join us via Zoom. Is he there? Oh, okay. So we were going to wait until he got on, so we obviously want to make sure he's here and a part of this. But I believe he is here, off to the left, it looks like, just off the screen. Is that, oh, no, he's...
My mouse is quick on you, so... But he's there, that's him in the bottom.
He's in the top corner. There we go. We can see half of him. Is that the better half or the worse half? So, okay, awesome, very good. Well, we appreciate it. It's great to see everyone here tonight. We appreciate you coming for the special city council meeting. And I believe we need to call it to order. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? We call this meeting to order. And with that, we will do a roll call.
Allgood.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Doty.
Here.
Sonic.
Here.
Register. Yes. McGee.
Here. Very good. Thank you so much. So we have all city council people present, and as mentioned, we do have Councilor Allgood on the Zoom joining us, and we appreciate that. And please also pass on our appreciation to your wife for allowing you to get away for a little bit to be with us, Councilor Allgood. And congratulations as well to you on your victory last week in the elections. So we do have just one item on the agenda tonight, and we do appreciate everyone coming. We realize this isn't our typical evening for city council, and we do respect people's time having to come out for this. But we also respect Mr. Cusick's time also. We want to make sure that he has the opportunity for his appointment to become official, so he can be able to make the arrangements he needs in Henderson as he prepares to come up to Caldwell. So rather than with there being 5 Mondays in May, it would have pushed that out an extra week or two. So we wanted to get this done on that so we can start moving forward in that regards. And we are appreciative that Mr. Cusick, with his wonderful wife, made the drive up to be with us here today. So it's great to see you in person. I know we were thinking we would see you on the Zoom as well with Councilor Allgood. So thank you for taking the time to come up and to be here in person. And if you don't mind, I'd love to give you, there's no really testimony this evening, but since you are here, I would love to give you the opportunity to speak and say a few words, and then if there's any questions, if you're amenable to that from the council, if they do have. I know you've had a chance to speak with everyone and do that, but if there's any questions that they have, you could answer. So if you don't mind, come forward and maybe just introduce yourself. And I know there's many of our wonderful police officers that are here that probably haven't had the chance to meet you yet. I'm sure they would love to hear what you have to say also. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your time. Can everybody hear me okay? As Mayor said, my name is Jason. He's going to speak a lot to the back because a lot of this is, I'm here on behalf of hopefully someday being your chief. So I want you to see me and understand me. Real quickly, just so you know, I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. We'll give you a little biographical history. Got my master's and undergraduate degree at UNLV. I've been with the Henderson Police Department. It'll be 25 years this August. I've worked a variety of details. I'm not going to go into great depth, but I've gone through, between field training officer, investigations, financial crimes, federal task force, SWAT, crisis negotiation team. As a sergeant, I was investigating over special victims unit, over financial crimes, over ICAC, lieutenant, and now I've been a captain over the current area command I'm at right now for the last 3 years for the most part. My area command consists of 63 officers, 3 lieutenants, 6 sergeants. I have victim advocates, and I also have that's civilian employee works for me. So that's kind of where I'm currently located and what my responsibilities are in running the entire area command. With that, I first of all have to thank my wonderful wife, Sandy. She has been in lockstep with me for almost 30 years. She's been an amazing partner, and a lot of my successes definitely been due to her being so supportive and being such an amazing wife and mother. So thank you, and I love you. The council, thank you so much for the opportunity. This is an amazing opportunity. I'm looking forward, and hopefully with your blessing, I'll have the honor of being a next chief of the Caldwell Police Department, to be able to lead all these employees, both sworn and non-sworn. Kenny, the reporter, we're talking just briefly a little bit, and kind of said what led me to this, and so it's interesting, because Sandy and I, ultimately we're gonna make Caldwell our long-term home when I retire. I know you guys have all heard the story, but again, I think it's important for some context, to know who I am as a human being. But then, understanding that this opportunity presented itself, I realized, and looking into and researching the city department, what it stands for, its emphasis, the community itself on just community, family, public safety, and the department's deeply ingrained with community-oriented policing, which is what we really believe in practice, not only in Henderson Police Department, but personally. As far as leadership, I explained to you, I'm very relational. That is my style. I believe in communication, cooperation, collaboration. That's how we're gonna accomplish things. It's gonna be a team. There's gonna be the words team, us, and we. That's how we're gonna move forward. We have a situation going on, obviously, but we're gonna get through it, all right? The public needs to know that the Caldwell Police Department has never not been there through all these trials and tribulations. It's still an excellent department, a lot of excellent folks, and that's what I'm looking forward to being a part of, to being that next leader for you guys. Because, again, part of my goal is to meet with every single member of this department. I need to understand what's going on with the culture. My plan is not to come in and make these massive, radical changes. I need to hear from everybody. I need to hear from the officers. You guys are the ones on the street. You guys are the ones working it, going to calls for service, engaging the community. I need to understand how you guys operate and how I can fit in and help supplement that. Ultimately, I think my job as chief, a lot of it's going to be is to go ahead and remove barriers and put you guys into positions to succeed. And that's what I look forward to. That's what I want to come to see the parade. And I think as far as the statement goes, that sums it up, and I'm happy for any questions.
Perfect, excellent, thank you so much, Mr. Cusick. Is there any questions from the council? Mr. Williams?
I would just like to say congratulations on an exemplary career, and we appreciate all that you've done for law enforcement. It's notable, it's commendable, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Law enforcement is something I've always believed in. Ever since high school, I knew law enforcement was where I wanted to go into. That's why I got my degree in criminal justice. I followed up with my advanced degree in criminal justice. And just, I've been able to just engage my community and going forward, and it's gone. My career's been amazing. It's been fulfilling. I think I've given a lot, and my family has sacrificed a lot, for that public good. And that's why I look forward to continuing up.
Thank you so much. Any other questions or? Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Take a seat. So I'll just say a few things too. So I was able to be part of the interview process when Mr. Cusick came up and was interviewed with the other candidates, and I was thoroughly impressed throughout the interview in the questions he asked, his excitement about the police department, about his past work in Henderson, also the future of Caldwell. And I understand interviews are tough. You know, when you're in there and you're, trying to portray who you are, and, even though it was an hour-long interview, it's still difficult to sum up your entire 24-year police career, who you are as a person in that 1 hour time frame. Having to show that you have the ability to lead as a police chief, you need to have a little bit of aggression in that. I think everybody would agree, and so, sometimes that may come off different or whatnot, but I thought that, Mr. Cusick did an excellent job in the interview as we went through the process, and, Kim did after, talking with his supervisors, with others, felt that he was the one for Caldwell to lead our wonderful, and we have an amazing police department. I'm glad to see a lot of them out here tonight because they are incredible individuals, and what they do on a daily basis just blows my mind away. And so I made the effort to go down to Henderson to visit in person. Because like I said, sometimes it's tough to really get to know somebody on our turf, so I wanted to go to his turf. So I went down there and was able to meet with him, was able to speak with his chief, kind of a boots on the ground kind of a deal, kind of see his environment, and the respect that just everyone down there had for him. And even we were able to go out to dinner that night, able to meet his wife, get to know her a little bit, see the good family man that he is. But as we went out to dinner that evening, people just coming up and just saying the greatest thing that could ever be said about a person. And they kind of knew that he had been interviewed and things like that, and so they were a little upset knowing that he might be leaving their presence, but just so excited for him as well. And I said just people coming up Mr. Cusick and Captain Cusick, from the community, the things that he had done, the drives that he had ran to help, get, clothes and things like that for the needy during Christmas time, and, working together with the commercial community to bring them together to help people's lives, and you could just feel the love from the people that came up, out of that. So I just appreciated that opportunity, and I just solidified it right there. I'm like, this is the man, this is Caldwell, and that's what we need, is somebody that is Caldwell. And I truly feel that, Captain Cusick is that, and he'll lead these fine men and women with dignity and with honor, and he's gonna lead by example. I know in interviews when we talked that many times his superiors had to come to him and say, okay, Captain, you need some training too, or you need this too, because he was always giving it to the people under him that he served. And making sure that they were trained and they had everything they need before he got what he needed. And so that's what we need, is somebody that's gonna put all these officers before himself. What do they need? What can I do to better them, to better this department? And that's what Mr. Cusick's gonna bring in. So for that reason, among many, many others, is the reason why we have his name before us tonight. And so, as a council, as you are aware, the mayor brings forward a name for appointed officials, and then it does require approval of the majority of the council. So for this section, we need to do that. And I realize that there are times that we disagree on council, when things come forward that you do disagree with, whether it's, land use applications, annexations, rezones, things like that. And I respect that 100%, and I appreciate differing opinions that we have on the council. There's times when I, as mayor, will ask for your support, and tonight is one of those nights. Where I feel 100% confident that Mr. Cusick is the man for the job, and so I would ask for your support, in this regards, and to support your mayor, support this community, and support those police officers in the back. And so with that, I would, like I said, this is the only item on the agenda, so there would be time, this would be the time, if we have one, for a motion. Again, and that would be for the presentation, the appointment of Jason Cusick as the police chief for the city of Caldwell.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Doty.
I'll, make a motion to approve Jason Cusick, is that correct? Cusick, for the next Caldwell Police Chief.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I will second that.
Very good. Thank you very much. We have a motion from Councilor Doty and a second from Council President Allgood. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Stoddard.
first of all, no reflection on our police department at all, but here are some of the concerns that I have. First of all, I personally think we as councilmen are responsible to our constituents, the folks who voted for us, and moreover, we're even more responsible for the future of our city, both present and in the future. And, there's still an FBI investigation going on, which has not, reached its end yet. We don't know, who the folks are that are guilty and who are not guilty relative to some of the, things that have been going on in the police department for the last couple of years, with the exception of one gentleman, that was Lieutenant Hoadley, and he was indicted by a grand jury, so we know that for a fact, but the rest of it we do not know. And I think Mr. Allgood would agree with me that, until an investigation is through, how can you come up with some good decisions? And maybe he's operated a little bit different than that, but that's always what I heard. As far as, Mr. Cusick, no problem as far as his, qualifications, although he and I had an extended conversation about our problem here at Caldwell versus what he was experienced, or had experience in, and to me, we have a systemic problem here, and I understood that from our conversations, lengthy conversations, and maybe some emails, that, you haven't had that kind of experience, and that concerned me. Also, retirement. I know you're getting close to retirement, and, if you decide to retire in 4 to 5 years, then, what are we gonna do for a new police chief? And, that concerns me, the longevity. Relative to the, grading system, it was my understanding that Mr. Ingram was the one at the top of the list, and I may be wrong, but that's what I understood. Mr. Cusick came in second. That concerned me a little bit. I did talk to Mr. Ingram at length as much as I did Mr. Cusick, and he's, as most of you know, he's with the LA Police Department, and at the LA Division, he had a similar problem that we had, systemic problem with police officers and some things going on that shouldn't be. And because of his good job there, he was transferred to the Hollywood Division, for the same reasons, and, from what I understand from his, superiors, he did a fantastic job there. His unit was also in charge of, security for the Super Bowl, security for the Oscars, among other important, sessions that, the Hollywood folks have, so that did impress me some. And, as far as, the experience, the longevity of these folks and everything, Mr. Ingham, for whatever reason, is a little bit younger than Mr. Cusack, and I don't think he plans on retiring in the next 5 years, at least that's what he told me. So, based on those concerns, and before you called for a vote, I just wanted to clarify with everybody why I'm voting the way I am. So those are the reasons. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, discussion, from any of the counselors?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Counselor Elgin.
sorry, Counselor Register, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
I disagree with Counselor Stodic in that the problems with Caldwell Police Department are systemic. I don't believe that at all. I believe they are, something that can be worked through, and I believe the officers of Caldwell Police Department are above all. I have no doubts about them whatsoever. Regarding Captain Cusick, I have been part of interviews. I have spoken to him on the phone. I have looked at his resume. I have spoken with the background investigator. I believe he is extremely capable and could serve as our police chief without any issue.
Thank you, Council President. Counselor Register.
Yes, I just had something prepared because I wanted to be very clear. In the short time that I've sat on city council, we've been charged with making many difficult decisions, yet for me, the appointment of the chief of police has far been the most difficult one. While I agree that there is an emergent need for this position to be filled, I also believe strongly that there were things that needed to be done to ensure the integrity of the process. I believe that Mr. Cusick is a well-rounded applicant, and while I have enjoyed getting to know him, I refuse to put somebody in the position just to get somebody in there. The police department is in desperate need of leadership, but they are also in desperate need of healing. And I believe that is going to take somebody who not just has the administrative and managerial experience, but somebody who checks all the boxes for the needs of the department and the community as a whole. As with the rest of the council, this decision was not made lightly and has weighed heavily on me for weeks. I've listened to the people on the interview panel, other city leaders, my constituents, our officers, but most importantly, I have too many unanswered questions and doubts to move forward at this time.
Other discussion, comments? Okay, so I'll just maybe make a few final comments and then we'll take the vote on that. I appreciate Councilor said, I appreciate Council President Allgood, those comments that you did say. I realize that you do, we all represent the people, in that regard. And we need to make a decision that we feel is best, and I feel 100% confident that Mr. Cusick, Captain Cusick, is the one to lead us. I know there was talk about the FBI investigation. I don't know if that was leading to say that we need to wait till that's done. That's going to be way, way, way into the future. So we can't wait around for that. Longevity retirement, I know during interviews we had, one of the top police chiefs in the state from Garden City on it, and he actually said that you don't want a police chief for more than 5 or 7 years. If they're doing their job, they're going to get burned out in that amount of time. So that was a big concern he had about some of the other candidates where they would be there 15, 20 years, and he spoke highly against that actually, in that regard, and I respect him. He came very highly recommended to be on that panel, and respect, what he said and everything that he did. The Super Bowl and Oscars is great, but this is Caldwell. We don't have the Super Bowl, we don't have the Oscars. I love Caldwell because we don't have those things. So I don't think that really plays into the decision for Mr. Cusick, Captain Cusick, as our police chief. He cares, he loves his family, he loves the people he serves with. He will love each and every one of these police officers, treat them like family. I have no doubt with that. He has my 100% full, complete support for this position. So with that, again, I realize, and I'm not gonna, but I would ask for council support in this decision as we move forward, as we try to heal the department and move forward in that regard. So with that, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Allgood,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
No.
Williams,
No.
Register,
No.
Scotty.
No.
So with that, that motion does fail, unfortunately. And as I mentioned, that was the only item on the agenda this evening. So with that, I would ask for a motion to end this special city council meeting.
So moved.
So the first, motion from Councilor Doty, a second from Councilor Stock, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, some final comments before we do end this. So I am extremely disappointed. We've lost an incredible candidate, made the effort to come up here and be here in person. I think we need to put our own desires aside, look at what really truly is best for this department. This sets us back. We need somebody that can lead, and I agree, we don't wanna just throw somebody in there to have somebody in there, but that is not what Mr. Cusick is. Captain Cusick, he is an amazing individual, would lead these fine men and women, with dignity and honor, and I wish we just would've given the same, so I am very disappointed. Obviously, not much that I can do, and I realize that, but we do need to get somebody in for these officers. They need somebody to lead them. They've been kind of out there on their own for the last couple of months, and I think, yeah, I saw Lieutenant Wright back there and the other Lieutenants, Rice and, Lieutenant Winfield. Appreciate what they've been doing, to keep this department afloat the last couple of months while we moved through this and brought forward, what was an exceptional candidate. So, very disappointed in where we're at right now, and appreciate Council President Allgood, Councilor Doty, and I guess that's all I have to say. So with that, this meeting stands adjourned.